unloading the gift from Gary, plus more on the Hitachi radio. I'm back once again. 7 o'clock now in the evening. I have not been working on this since earlier when I made the video. Like I said, it's I'm really down to finding the new springs is where I'm down to. I may have to watch a video on it, find out maybe if I could remember where I put them. But I have looked at all my usual places that where I put new parts at. They're not there. Now, ordinarily, I just keep looking until I find them, but I kind of like to have an idea of where I should be looking. Anywho, in the meantime, let me show you what I got in the mail. Was these. Now these came with, and I didn't realize it at the time, but they came with the sockets as well as the pigtails. So I know these will fit, but I mean, in case they don't, there's new sockets for them, so they would fit even better. That's for that 50 amp stereo amp, 50 watt stereo amp. Now see, I'm looking for a place to put these, and I'm thinking, now where can I put these so that they won't get lost? And my usual places are, like I said, that's why I always put them is in the usual place. And if they're not there, then I have to wonder what in the world would I have done with them this time. So that's probably, or that's exactly what I'm wondering. Also got a, I don't have it back here with me, but I got a steering wheel cover for my car. One of the few things that's wrong with it is the top of the steering wheel has a spot, I'm assuming from the sun, where it has removed the covering from the steering wheel, and there's a spot there where I put my hand, and I'm always playing with it. You know how you do when there's something abnormal. You always tend to feel of it and try to figure out what it is and things like that. But anyway, I bought that cover, and I think I only paid a couple $3 for it. It wasn't much. So I'm going to try to put that on soon. And that's about it. Let me do some more looking. I'll come back because this is not going to be this can be a short video if I don't find those springs, because that's what I'm using next. So let me look some more, and I'll be back. All right, bring you back just for one thing. It's 9:34 now in the evening. I found the battery clips, as you can see. Now I'm having to do a little bit of a remodel to it. That's the way it looks on the other side. I think if I can get that soldered into them pins there, I think I might be better off. But it's going to have something to hold it there better than that. Like I said, I may have to redo this one and rebend it or something, because I don't know that it'll hold like it is. But anyway, if it did, that would work pretty good right there, because I've got it, you know, where it doesn't touch anything. So that's one side. Now the other side would be the same thing. Basically, I'll have to I had to make that hole bigger, obviously. See, right there. Now I didn't do a very good job of it, but like I said, it's not a big deal. But I'll need to, like I said, get these. I don't know. I think there's, pretty sure there's what do you call it, underneath there that I can solder to. Pads. And just all I have to do is take and make them put solder on them, and then I can put that in there and solder that to that, and it should hold real good that way, I think. I don't have my, what do you call it, so I see some metal there, so I'm sure that's what it is. So I will have to do that, get that prepped and get that in there. Like I say, once you put it in there, it should stay after it's soldered, I would think. That's just the way I think anyway. So that's all for tonight. I'm not going to do any more. I'll probably bring this back tomorrow and do some more. But I found these springs in the same box as the High Wave. Bob and I were talking about when they were bought and what they came in with. They came in with the switches for the High Wave. You guys may not even remember the High Wave. I don't know. But it was another shortwave AM radio, transistor radio. So I got about the same time as I got this one. And it needed a switch to switch between AM and shortwave. So I bought switches for it, and they're in that box too. So I will do some more work on this tomorrow, and we'll get some other things caught up. Now I did notice this is the positive end down here, and I think this is how this goes in here, like that. And you can see it. Whoops, you're not seeing it. Now you can. You can see how that fits in there, like that. And these are the positive ends. Now that sticks up a little bit, and I don't know. I'm sure that's the way it works because as far as it goes down there, so. I'll have to put the wires on before I put it in there. Then there's little tubes that the batteries fit into that go here like this. So that'll be a little bit fun to get in there also. Maybe it's just one tube. Maybe the back ones don't have a tube. Anyway, one or the other has a tube. And there's places right there where the batteries fit against that rounded out there like that. So I don't have the battery handy, or I would look at that a little closer. But anyway, like I say, I'll work on this tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. So stay tuned for that. Alright, carefully, people. Thank you, thank you.
What no man has done before.
Yeah, not one man, just two person doing.
I could have done it.
Right.
You just gonna leave it sit there?
I was playing.
Put it over against the wall, please.
I saw that guy at the house.
Really?
What?
That guy was, I think, some robber. Not robber, whatever his name is.
Why would you set it that way?
It's protecting the features.
Well, I understand, but why not put it against the...
I want to protect things that make it work too.
Never mind. Forget it. Alright, well, it's unloaded. Good morning, YouTube. Here with you on a Friday morning this time. I'm here on the Hitachi. It'd be nice if I could say that. I've been working on this little cutout here, or this little groove, whatever you want to call it, where the this piece here fits. And what I have come up with is something a little bit different. That's all backwards. Goes in this way. Now I can put that in there, that's fine. It fits a little loose, as you can see, because I've been cleaning it out, that track. And there is no track on this side on the top. Now on the other side, on this end, there is. Goes all the way over, and I think this one was supposed to do the same, but at some point in its life it has lost its upper track. So I already told you about the problem I'm having with the spring and the clip, and I'm thinking it because it fits a little different than the other way. So what I've come up with is a different solution to the problem, and that solution involves just a piece of the phenolic circuit board, whatever you want to call it, And that's one of the reasons I've been cleaning that track out, because it will fit in there fairly well. Just like that. Now you can see there's a little bit of space there. Haven't got it quite all the way in there yet, but I'm working on it. And once I get that all the way in there, it will be every bit as tight as the other one. In fact, it's more tight. And plus I will be able to use the spring clips more as they were intended. I will slot the, let me take this out again, as soon as I get this cleaned out like I wanted it. But anyway, I'll be able to make a slot basically right here on top, say, just giving you an example, between these two lines here. And so this piece here will come out and go through there. And once it does, I can take and solder these pads to this here. That will hold that in solid. It will be in there as solid as rock. And both sides will be done, obviously. Now this one I had already slotted for that rivet, but you know, it's not a big deal. I can use it. I've got a bunch of them. Like I said, I had plenty of them to mess with. But anyway, that's my plan, and that's what I'm doing. Now I want to try. Well, I guess I could just drop that on the floor. But anyway, it's down there somewhere. That's the plan I'm using. Like I said, I want to try to clean this out as best as possible, so that will fit in there well. It is pretty dirty in there, and I don't even know if you can see this, but almost every path I make some new material coming out with the picks. But anyway, and I'm cleaning the other parts up too as I go, because there's a lot of that corrosion stuff in here, and I want to get it all cleaned out, and then I'll take some compressed air and get that as clean as I can. But anyway, that's my plan, and I think that would be a better plan than using the metal one, because of, well, just because it's metal. You know, you have to really kind of be careful, because these two are separate. And you know, that's another thing. I could probably do this a different way, wire it differently to where I have a positive and a negative end, because let's face it, the positive and the negative end is going to be that way anyway. The only way I'm doing it now is to basically take one of these as the positive, and then go to the negative end, and from that negative end there, it got to run back to this, and then goes back, you know, and then the negative end would be on the other end, which, you know, it's fine. But if I joined those and I had one positive here and one negative here, I could just basically do that way and let the, you know, the end be the transfer. I know I'm not explaining that very good, but like I said, I may put up a diagram here and show you what I'm talking about. But basically, this is what I'm going to try first. I'm going to try this method that I just outlined of using the circuit board instead of the metal, and trying that. See if that works good. If it does, I'll go with that. And I even thought about it. I don't have the actual one that I'm using, but I thought about doing it this way. And being as there's no end over here on top, I thought about putting maybe a little brace right there, you know, triangular shape, and I'll glue that to the back of the circuit board to where it will keep a good, you know, I won't have a loose cannon over here. I'll have something where it's braced against the bottom. You know, you know, there's pressure on those springs, obviously, for the batteries, and you know, I'm thinking maybe over time that's gonna, you know, with nothing on top to support it, it might cause a problem. So, and then again, I'm thinking, well, you know, I can always add that anytime I want to. So, yeah, I'm thinking a lot about these things. Now, also, there may be maybe some other stuff on here, but I wanted to share this with you. I did get the 50B5 in the mail yesterday, and that will be for the Sentinel radio. So that will be coming up shortly. Also on this video, I may go ahead and put the unloading of the Philco from the trunk of my car. I had my grandkids, Kylie and Billy, unload it. And I may even take a little trip out to the garage. We'll take a look at it, a little closer look. I'll take the light with me so you can see. Or open the garage door, one of the two. It is a little chilly out there, so I don't know if we'll do that. But anyway, we'll see. But that's just a couple of things we're working on this morning. And I think Bob's working on his video. I know you guys have heard me say he's putting up a video, and probably getting tired of hearing me say it. But eventually he will. He's had some problems he's trying to overcome, I believe. And so I believe they're sound related. I know his microphone quit working on him, so I believe the sound clips that he wanted to get on are, you know, having a little problem with that. But anyway, he's working on it. And so he will get that up eventually. And also wanted to mention Don. I'm a junk collector, and express my condolences to him over the loss of his daughter, Holly. I understand that happened the other day, and we're all sad about that, I know. And it's just, you know, words can't express. I know how you feel about it, you and Edie, and so just please, you know that you're in our prayers, and that you'll get through this, and you know, life goes on, and you know, it's just sad, but you have to kind of think that she's in a better place, and that's the way you look at stuff like that. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that stuff, and I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe post this, because I've got another piece of footage on here from earlier with me working on this. I think I'm going to add that to it, and by the time I add all the rest of the stuff to it, I think that's going to be enough to make a video. And so I think that will do it. And I have to take Kylie. I took her to school this morning. That's another thing. You guys, I know, don't know what's going on here, and that's one of the reasons I didn't make a video yesterday. But there are some things going on here at home, and people are making some changes, and there will be more on that at a later date. And you guys will see a new face here maybe soon. So but anyway, like I say, the last couple days I've been taking Kylie to school and picking her up, and she has to work today, so I have to take her to work. We're still not really sure what time she works. She doesn't remember. She's 17. What can she, you know, you gotta know teenagers don't think about stuff like that. And so after I pick her up, she'll have to call her work and find out what time she goes in. But it's either 4 or 5, I'm sure. And my daughter thought it was 4 or 5, but she's not really sure. So anyway, that's what we're working on, and I'm hoping to wrap up the Hitachi here fairly soon. Now, I don't really, it's been so long since I worked on this, I don't really remember how this all came out, but there's screw holes there. I'm sure I'll figure it out and get the pieces back together. And you know, that's another thing, while I'm talking about it, I never recapped this thing, and I'm sure it would be beneficial if I did that. You know, like I said, it's pretty much old as the hills. There are electrolytic caps in here, I'm sure, although I'm not seeing any. Now some of the no, those are transistors. Well, anyway, maybe that's one. Yeah, there's one right there. There's one here. So there are some electrolytics in there that could be changed. Now, whether I do that or not, I don't know. But we will consider that, and you know, that will be something to think about. And anyway, well, that's just the things we're working on. So, all right, I'm going to get off here and close this down. And like I said, I'm going to try to put this together, so I'll have a video up, and I can go ahead and work on this at my leisure, and get it done. And I want to get back on the Sentinel radio and get that, you know, like I said, I've got the tube now, so I can go ahead and redo all that stuff that needs to be redone. Get that placed like it's supposed to be done. And I want to get to that Philco, because that's going to be a real kind of exciting departure from my normal stuff here, because normally I'm on transistor radios, later tube radios, things like that. Now that radio is from, and there's a little bit of a question of it, but I think this is a 1935 radio that was actually, or a 1936 model radio that was, you know how it's the same way with cars. You know how new cars come out like in September, or they used to, for the next year. And I'm sure it's the same way with radios. But anyway, I think it's a 36 model of, it's a 630X chassis, or model number, I guess. And quite a bit of and you guys that have worked with Philcos before probably know this. There's quite a bit of a discrepancy sometimes in the schematics and the service information than what's actually on the radio. So that'll be fun to figure out. And I think Gary did mention this does not work. I believe he said, and I may be way off on this because I get my stories mixed up sometimes, but I believe he said that he had a guy, the guy that owned it had a guy that did his work on it, and that guy passed away, and he hasn't had anybody to work on it. So I guess it did develop a problem. So anyway, we will look at that and then see what it comes up to be. But like I said, that was. And also, I want to publicly, I really haven't done this. I want to publicly thank Gary for the radio, and he also gave me another radio, a Sony, and I'll put that up here on the bench here one of these days, and we'll have a look at it. But it's a nice little table radio, and it does work. It's a solid state. But I wanted to thank him for doing that. I mean, Gary has given me a lot of radios, and I'm thankful and grateful for every one, and he does. You know, it always makes me feel a little bit bad that I really don't give him anything. But, you know, at the same time, I try to help him as best I can. Like I worked on the Fisher, and you know, I try to, you know, to reciprocate, I guess is what the word is. But like I said, he's and I did go down to his house to pick this up and got to finally visit him. I mean, he's visited me several times, and I've never been to his house, so I have done that now. And anywho, that's that. I've already talked about that on the vlog I did on the flapping video, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But just be knowing that all this will come to a head here eventually. I'm trying to get some things done on these radios. And you know, I'm working at it, and working through some other stuff as well. So you guys, all that will become clear one of these days, so we'll wait until then, I guess. But you guys have a pleasant day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya.